Oppenheimer, Vishnu Shiva, Valentine Rabbit, detective, you will become it. At the back end of this thing, man, I was fucking lit. I'm not exactly woke, and we're going to go a different angle about it, but we're going to be talking about some stuff happening in this video. I'm loving this presentation, man. Out into here, man, I was hammering out marshmallows and stuff till you get to this case out here. And like I said, I'm not going to go for an hour. I only got about 15 minutes to hammer this through in terms of what this is. Now, this is a beautiful gold standard in terms of the table, in terms of a lot of leisure on both ends of the function, but what will happen down the pipes, especially when you get down to the back end of this thing, about when he's faced with his reality. And I'm pretty lit about this detective not being a psychologist. It was said there are notes about an attorney and how far things go down the pipes, how far things are adjusted in terms of the standard of what I bring to the table of the IMA program is a prelogue to these things happening. And then again, the exact same function, but happening before the ideal of seeing signals at the IH-Z coin level to certain interpretations of what this interpretation is generally about when you're faced with a board of a certain type of math problem, of a certain set of topologies, of a certain subset of sectors in terms of developing that problem, that person with those skills before some of these things get out of fucking hand.
This is 26-year-old Dawson McGee, sitting in a police interrogation room in the early hours of a Tuesday morning. The Monday night before, he stabbed his own mother to death for asking him to move out of the house and get a job. Dawson is unaware that he is being recorded on a hidden camera. In 3 seconds from now, he will hear the sound of the door being opened by a detective.
One
and
way or
at that
another,
exact
this
moment,
is real
you will
to
see
a
a
certain degree.
remarkably
I'd have to get
noticeable switch
into
in his demeanor.
High school cases, where did he have problems? Let's get into it on the down and dirty. For the board, you're going to get into certain standard models. Do you think about her? Is one of these voices a female, male? What's your standard model? Adopted parents? What's the sector variable on vector positions that FMA spin measurement outcome to the value of, well, this is here again. This is bad subject matter to the stone mill floor, where it is the box, but it's different. And what this will become, because I need everybody licking envelopes or somebody to pick up on the Z-Coin, why somebody was catching shit, why the farmer on the farm didn't have this horse worked out in terms of a sensible timeline, that the systems that encourage that energy transmission to be understood know how that function works, to better enrich the situational model regardless of the standards of the gravitational calc in general. For the FN, net force, mass acceleration here determines what was perceived to be on the topology against vector positions of a different form that base where this is going, what it could do, why you gotta love the acid tank, man, why do the thing. So this is they quantified this as an act, and then they brought
it
up
would come as no surprise.
Fucking serial killer in the making. Very different system, models, interpretations. Now, sociopath is where we begin to break down a system inside here, where the matrix actually decides it to be something different in terms of location and position of nurture versus nature and how a standard is represented.
The detective fails
now,
to establish a
this
solid
is a pretty
motive for a further
wild
2 minutes. The discussion eventually lands on the victim's
or
long-term
Mukau
girlfriend.
tag, right? You know, what's the index on whose team lead was this? The family, the house, at a certain age on a system, it no longer matters. You know, I'm down for the 2-year military term, because at least then I'd have a standard model of what that information was supposed to look like going down the pipes through a system. But let's assume that's not something we have to work with, and what we actually have to work with is a bunch of arbitrary first-round standard models walk into the investigation. Oh, that's just dangerous in general over there, right, Sheriff?
Yes, sir. You killed a young man. Yes, sir. Just for the simple fact of...
Now, we get into the case study at hand, and this is a very long interpretation. It should be specified.
There was no calculated structure to his behavior whatsoever. So with this notion in mind, let's move on to the primary subject of this video.
It's pretty heavy. You're going to need some points of views from here, but let's just assume it works equally from any perspective if I was out here doing this, because this will be important, because I don't have to slip out for some of this. The demon, as we will get into on the standard model for certain positions, when you have psychologists, when the interpretation should be asked, when things are normal.
Nothing about getting up, right, buddy?
This is
The
19-year-old
board,
Nicholas Cruz, who
being
3
the
hours
demon
and
we'll get
55
into
minutes
later
prior to this
about
moment
why you
murdered
would ask
17
say something
people
like
at his
that,
former
given
high
anybody
school
else
in
in the
Parkland,
room,
Florida.
on the system,
Among the
of
dead
the
were 3
function.
teachers and
In
14
this
students,
board
the
for
majority of
Tom,
whom were
Luke, Mary, cut
14
it off,
years
don't
old.
cut it
A
off,
further
kill him,
17
don't kill him,
students were seriously
parental
wounded during the
timelines,
massacre. The
board
gunman
unit
dropped
to
his
get in a
rifle
fight
7
over a
minutes into the
girlfriend, losing the
rampage, and
fight,
then blended
working
in
a
with the
dollar
crowd
store
as he
with
ran out of the
compression
building.
of
He
rent,
was at large
timeline,
for 1 hour
phones,
and 20 minutes,
systems
during
that
which
compress the
time he
base
stopped off at a
system that
Subway
you need.
and then a McDonald's, where he sat down and casually spoke to one of the victim's brothers. The student was unaware that his older sister had just been shot through the chest by the man sitting across the table. The description of the shooter was transmitted by police over the radio, which led to an officer identifying and arresting him on a street just 2 miles away from the school. He was taken to the nearest hospital and examined by a doctor for roughly 1 hour and 45 minutes. He was medically cleared and then transferred to the local sheriff's office, where he was subjected to
We're going to
interrogation.
see something I'd love to catch in the MRI. You know what? It's just if I can make it happen in the MRI, I want to see what happens on the brain. A lot of this
From the
plays
moment the
off for
subject
real.
entered
I don't
the
know
room,
if I
his
have to
eyes
do
had
it, but
been
if I had
fixed
to play
upon
the
nothing but the
Mario,
floor.
how did
He's
I
held
feel
onto this
after I shot up a bunch
downward-facing
of things
gaze
and I
as if he's
realized
either
I'm
in a
fucked?
state
I
of
want to
shock
give
or
up.
disconnected
This is
from
the
the moment.
system. We're talking about some systems like hallucinogenic on this system right here, how it normally would play off with 42 and the demon in the box here, clickety click click, and dead fucking craziness masked out on just what can come across
At the exact
in terms
moment
of
the door
Oppenheimer,
shuts, he
Vishnu,
lifts up his
Shiva,
head to
field
observe his
theory,
surroundings.
mu,
His behavior
tensor,
completely
Riemann
shifts once he
tensor,
believes no one
math
is
house,
watching.
law house,
If we look at his
this
demeanor a
chair
moment
later
earlier,
to this
we can see
chair
the
and the upside
contrast.
down
He went from
pineapple
being
cake,
detached
value of
to alert. His
energy,
behavior changed as the
interpretation of what
environment changed,
happens.
which is a recurring theme throughout this
And
interrogation.
this with a
It
click of a
shows us that
button
his mind isn't wandering
radically
off
already
during
changes
these
things
moments
if
of
I can
apparent
put this
disconnection. He is
in
in
a
fact
lower
fully
subset
present and very aware of
with
what's
a drill
going on around
sergeant
him.
on the fucking hand.
As he
It
looks
turns
up,
this
his eyes immediately
into
lock onto
something
the
useful
camera.
at
He now
19
knows he is still being watched,
to
and his
the
following
set
gestures
of
will
the
resemble
floor
that of someone with suicidal
and break
tendencies.
that out into the military contract. At 17 bodies, let's value at least one general math problem in Omega real quickly to quantify what would you have to do to put that back. What's going on in the camera as soon as he hit that? Like I said, looked up. Caught that right there. He knows the camera from different interpretation. Sitting there, first time you see it, bang.
At face value, these externalized
Me, I'm
suicidal
coming out
thoughts
of
may
UHS
seem
out of the
genuine to
telephone
some,
pole where they
but
set
when
me in a
framed with
box
the rest of his
after I had a
behavior
big gash
throughout
in my
this
legs. They needed the
interrogation,
bed for
they are
like 3
exposed for
hours.
what they really are: an act, a calculated attempt to garner sympathy and paint his character in what he believes to be a more positive light.
Thinking a lot for the day. Do you believe in demon? Nope. Hear voice? Absolutely not.
All right. How you doing, Nick? You all right? Gotta be able to speak so I can hear you. All right. I just need to ask you.
Entropy
really,
here
your
close.
name and
Measurements
date of birth,
at
just
sets
to
when
confirm
they're
I got it
this
right,
close.
and I'm gonna see you want a glass of water or something.
Shouldn't be measured.
What's your
When they're
first
here,
name?
they're independently fine. Zeros are zeros, but you put
This
them
is a
next to each
situation
other.
where the proof against the suspect is already conclusive. He is without question responsible for the crimes under investigation, making the pursuit of a confession non-essential.
Yeah, I'll
The
be down in
police
just a
know he did
second.
it, but they need to know why he did it, which would already require a complex strategy in order to obtain the correct information. But the suspect's first recorded statements upon his arrest have now made the procedure considerably more difficult.
What's going on today, bro?
The demons, man.
Demons?
Stuff gets weird out here, especially in the conversational model of this eschatology value. And they do the right thing by saying, hey,
Voices and demons?
Where's the voices?
hopefully you catch it way before this. You know what I mean?
What happened?
Just be quiet, man.
Demons, man. Voices.
These two words
Good
have
that
now
if in
forged
this
the primary
situation,
stratagem
Amara.
of his own interrogation,
Yes.
which is to cut through deception under the
If,
guise
when,
of
and,
supportive
or gate.
examination. The questions will be designed to lock him into a specific narrative about his alleged
Maxwell
psychosis,
Demon
while
inside of here
simultaneously
is a
giving him the
training
impression that his
board.
responses are for
It's
his
a
own
way
benefit.
when
Anything he
given
says now
a
can be
parental
used to
standard
refute
model,
any amendments he might come up
Hellboy,
with at a later stage. We all know
anything
that
that's
after
the
this
ascent
interrogation,
on
he will
TV
have
where this
significantly
kid
more
could have
time to
learned something
think,
from and
study,
said,
and
did
even
you,
seek
yes,
guidance
watch
from
this prime
professionals
function?
about how the legal
How did it
system
have an
interconnects
effect?
with
What are
mental
the video
illness.
game bases?
Yet the
Not because
majority
I
of
want
this
to give an
forthcoming knowledge could be
approximation
useless
to
to him,
that,
depending on what
but
he
because
says
I would
during
say
these
before
moments.
a
The
prior
more
index
details
of
he
that,
gives away,
that's
the less
still
options he will have for
FMA.
his defense
Let's
later
harness
on.
that momentum
But pursuing his
in
objective is
a
complicated,
subset
as
of
there are
this
two very
IMA
common
based
scenarios for when this
psych
type of suspect gets
theses.
interrogated.
School
And
and
just to
works
be
are
entirely
great
clear,
places, and you
by
gotta have
this type of
management
suspect,
at
we mean
the
someone who is,
at
one,
the
pretending
human
to be insane,
resources
and
person
two,
that's trained
not
to
fooling anyone.
recognize these
Their most
situations
common
into a
response is to
large
simply shut
differential
down. They
on a
regress into total
timeline that's going
silence
to
or some
benefit
type of
them
catatonic
by
state, and the
the
interrogation
skills,
never gets off the
degrees,
ground.
movements
The other
that are
common
actually
response is
necessary
the
to
exact
understand.
opposite. They erupt into hysteria or supposed delirium, and everything from that point forward becomes incoherent.
Seven
The lead
signs of the
detective, John Curcio,
Greed,
must not
lust,
allow either of
shame,
these scenarios to transpire, and this
whatever,
makes the
M1,
first
M2,
2 minutes
and then-
absolutely crucial. He needs to create a positive
Now, I
first
want to get
impression
to
and resemble
this
the
being
furthest thing from
a
a threat,
very good
while
way
at the
up
same
until the
time
name, the
maintain a
number,
presence
the
of authority.
basic
His
function was
temperament will
done.
be
Might need
easygoing
to
and
slip out.
non-confrontational, but op-
Because of the voice.
What do you think if you didn't buy it, if you say, hey, I ain't buying these guns, too expensive, what do you think the voice would have done to you? Just stop talking to you?
No, tell me to hurt myself.
How would you hurt yourself?
Cut.
You're a cutter?
Come on.
Okay.
I mean, when was the last time you cut yourself?
All right. So again, early warning system from a Dollar Tree, right? You know what does this mean? They are looking for attention. They are looking for a thing. They are pretty clairvoyant, but they're way wildly untrained, especially at this age. And then there's every once in a while using the Dollar Tree psychological thesis of what walks through the door, given a training location, work fraud systems, timed and adjustment to energy, housing,
Come on, man. I get worse
enriching the
scratches.
flow
My flower
of
bed than that. You weren't trying to hurt
culverts
yourself.
and stuff, physics on
sharp
plasticity and
enough?
shear models.
How many knives do you
What
have?
stretches them out, what bases Facebook
How
inflation
long have you
over
cut
time
yourself?
to was supposed to make you here, but you stretch it a month. You're fine.
You ever cut yourself
You
when
know,
were in the
timelines
hospital
that they
with
wouldn't
stitches?
get, hey kid, you know, you don't have to shoot up a school.
When you cut
They get
yourself,
notices,
because
you're really
the
not
voice
going to
just
get
told
delayed.
to
There's
cut
other ways
yourself.
to do that, and we'll try to get
And
that
if
in
you
there
didn't
before we do that. I mean, hey, you burn down the school.
Talk,
Hey, I
or
get
you didn't
the
listen to
joke.
the voice,
Sometimes
then you're
internally in
gonna be
here,
alone
this
'cause
box
your
is just
voice
fine to
was your
handle
old
that.
friend. That's
You
kinda
know,
what you're
but that's going to be you on
know, you have a
mission, right? That's
biological
going to be
clock.
you saying, hey, if it does come down, I'm going to look at this piece of
Since me
paper
and
as your
you've been
boss.
talking, have you
And
heard
you
the
look at
voices?
those things and decisions
What's it
later
say?
of not needing to fight, Neo. Not needing
For you
to
to cut
get in
yourself.
there and do
Does the
these
voice
things,
like me?
especially over how long of
Does the
the,
voice like me?
Doesn't trust you.
Why doesn't he trust me?
like I said,
Hey,
we get
relax.
out here to,
So if the Xanax helps you get the demons away,
Think marijuana does it better, huh?
was the demon there that day when Ian beat you up? I stopped the demon.
none of these things are
The
necessary
subject
for him
seems
to
to be
do.
coming to the realization that he's not going to be treated as a victim. As he begins to meet this reality,
And it
you will
never
notice
was.
him exhibit
This was
signs of
going
fear.
somewhere as
You
based
will
on
then
an
see him
attorney,
attempt to escape the
based
confrontation
on
by
a
feigning a state of
psychologist to be able
psychosis
to
once more.
readjust
The
this,
detective
where
will
I feel the
recognize
foul
this,
point
but
comes
this
in
time will
to
not
need
afford
this
reassurance.
variable
He
because,
will
well,
instead
shock
apply
model
further
into
condemnation, and a
the
visibly
fucking
frightening
Keter
realization
tank
will
over there,
engulf the
but
suspect from that point forward.
in here,
It's essentially the very beginning of retribution.
if I
The
had
detective
a
introduces him
differential
to the
through
rest
the
of his life at this
military
moment.
or a work-through function on this
You
that
did.
says,
You could
well,
have.
look, these
I've given
things
you
are
4
cultural models
ways
that
you could
will
have stopped
eventually
the
gain in
demon,
mass.
man.
Man-woman functions, timelines, regional
Okay, now you
models
know
of
you're just
jobs in
acting
the
like that
area,
because-
over 8,000 or 8
Okay,
million
well, relax.
jobs.
You're
When
just
I listen
acting
to
like
somebody
that
else fucking
because
moaning
I'm
about
making
it,
sense.
tell me
Calm down.
Schaefer or Paul
I'm
Augustin,
making
they
sense,
walk
and you don't
down to a
like when it
mic,
makes sense.
military guys can't get him to come in,
Because
fucks
it
around.
doesn't
What do you want me
fit
to do
into
about it?
the
This is my
story you're
interview,
telling.
brother. What is...
It's true. It's just,
Well, why are you looking at your arm now?
I'm trying to understand why. Well,
It's
why
fucking
didn't you want
19.
to stop the demon?
I don't know.
School system.
Because
We talk
you-
about
I
the
think you
fucking
like
core.
the demon.
No, I don't.
Why didn't you stop it then?
I don't like the demon. I don't
Demon
like the
core,
demon. I
bro.
don't like
Like
the
a nickel
demon.
chromium around an element
That's
right
if
here.
the demon even exists.
Just want to be clear about this.
I get it.
This
I
is
hear something.
by
You
far
want what, an
still
attorney?
Yeah.
gold
Did
standard
Damon-
for
did
what the model
The
is.
voices tell you to get an attorney? Okay.
And then later on, he does something.
Don't hit
Look,
yourself in the
I
head.
mean, I want to be very
Because
clear
the-
about this
the
board. This is
attorney-
what
the
it looks
demon just
like.
requested that I will-
And it may not go to these
I won't stop
extremities, but
talking
when the
to you.
measurements are real close,
I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm
You
scared.
scared of what?
I'm scared.
it wouldn't be crazy, would it? But that's what some people in the extremity of crazy start to act and do in terms of what that kid was.
All right. Well, again, your demon wants an attorney. Does the demon know an attorney?
Miles
Does he name
Sharp's
an attorney?
guy, constant preaching of the redundant teachings.
Well, just relax. You're done talking to me.
You're out, man. Get the fuck out of there. You're obviously.
Once again, I grabbed the wrong key.
And you gotta be careful what he was. And like I said, to the set.
All right, do me a favor. Stay seated. Put your hands kind of sit forward
Then
in
he
the chair.
says something at the end,
Don't put
which makes
handcuffs
more
behind
sense.
you.
Like I said, it's not always a bad
Since you
thing.
keep
but
talking about
I'm a
hurting
good guy. You
yourself.
didn't tell me I was a
Hold
good
on.
guy, right?
Put your hand behind
You
your
know,
back.
but
No, not behind the
You
chair.
gotta be
behind your
careful
back.
with that.
Don't
Like I
wanna make
said,
that
a yes
uncomfortable.
on the amplification of marginally prepared
Because
cut
what did the demon
window,
say about
but
me? I'm a nice guy.
kid don't fucking get that yet. And like I said, man, get some of this shit on the MRI, man. Well, is he faking it? GPT-3? Catch you on the next one.